Hey beautiful people, what is up, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my eyeshadow declutter. So yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. First disclaimer, and probably the only disclaimer, I am not decluttering most of this. Like, I love my eyeshadow, so 99.9% of this is staying, but some of this has to go because it just does not fit with my life anymore and I'm not using it, and it could probably get a better home. Now, some of this I will post on my Poshmark for sale, but a lot of this I think I will also post on my Instagram because I don't want to sell it. And honestly, if you're willing to pay for shipping, I would be happy to give it to you if you just pay for the shipping. So be on the lookout on my Poshmark, which should be live sometime soon, as well as make sure you check out my Instagram because, like I said, some of this I'll just offer for free if you're willing to pay for shipping. Okay, but don't expect that a lot of this is gonna go. I really do love most, if not all, of my eyeshadow. Okay, let's just dive in. So this drawer, and I have 4 drawers of eyeshadow. This top drawer is primarily my high-end to drugstore-ish palettes. I don't really have any drugstore palettes except for one, but these are technically my high-end palettes, but not my luxury palettes. So let's just dive in. So first up, I have my Odin's Eye collection. This is from the Legendary Divisa collection. It's the Giant Wolves and the Hummingbird palette. Love both of these. These are very new to my collection. 100% keeping them. Then I have the Nomad Haunted Europe palette. This is also really new to my collection. I really like this. I definitely want to get more use out of this. So I'm 100% keeping this as well. But I'm not going to go through every single palette because we will be here all day, and according to my memory card I only have 44 minutes, so we need to be done before then. Also keeping the NARS Climax palette. This was a purchase that was influenced by Image Beauty Eileen. She raved about this, she loved this, and honestly it is worth being raved about and loved. This is an amazing palette, so definitely keeping this one. And I'm just trying to get the palettes that are on top out of the way. What I really want this drawer to be is my palettes standing up like this, but because I have so many palettes, it began to like basically overflow. So I picked up the Colourpop Gather Round Sisters collab when it came back out again. This is still really new to my collection. Honestly, I'm not impressed with the formula. I feel like I'm still trying to find that Colourpop palette that replicates the Raw Beauty Christie formula, and I can't seem to find it. But the color story really is beautiful, and I do really like the color story. I'm going to hold on to it for now because I feel like I waited so long to get it, and I'm sad that I'm a little disappointed, but I will say the packaging in this is beautiful. Also keeping the It's Freaking Bats palette because this is just one of the most unique color stories out there, period. So this is a definite keep. Okay, now, like I said, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I am going to pull out some of the ones that I'm going to get rid of and show you guys. Here I have my ABH palettes. I'm keeping every single one of them. I haven't even tried the Amrezy palette yet. This hasn't been swatched, so it's definitely one of those that I need to use. And I have the Norvina, the Jackie Aina, Subculture. This is honestly, if one of them could go, it would probably be this one. Soft Glam and Sultry. But all of these will be staying. Oh, and I have this Kali Bible one. This is also one that is surprisingly beautiful. It kind of reminds me of the Huda, whatchamacallit, Mercury Retrograde palette. Like this, it looks like it's one of those that's going to be too light for someone of a deeper complexion, but whew, I love how this one performed on me. Then I have some of my Too Faced palettes. I have the Pumpkin Spice, the Extra Spicy, and the Chocolate Gold. Definitely keeping all of these. I feel like the tin formula when it comes to Too Faced is their best formula. I'm also keeping the Naughty Nudes palette because this I think is a really great everyday palette. I actually took this to Jamaica with me. this year, and I liked it. I think it worked well, especially paired with Pat McGrath's special shades. It's a solid palette. It's a solid palette if you love your neutrals. Okay, so I have this Alter Ego palette. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold. I think the Alter Ego formula is actually really, really nice. I think it performs well and the quality is great. But because I have the Natasha Denona Gold, I definitely don't need this because it's the exact same color story. So this is going to be one of those that I'm honestly willing to just give away. If you want to pay for shipping, it's yours. I have two Huda palettes, the Mercury Retrograde and the Huda Rose Gold Remastered. This one I think has some really, really nice shimmers. I definitely feel like I don't reach for this as much as I should. When it comes to my Huda palettes, I love the color stories, but I don't end up reaching for it at all. The Mercury Retrograde is honestly a solid one from her. I think it's still on sale at Sephora right now for like 50% off. I am definitely keeping this one because it is really beautiful, and I do like the amount of different textures that you get in it. Oh, why did I leave this in here? So this comes out. My Nomad Cosmetics palette, the America's Parks, definitely keeping. My Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels, will never get rid of this one, of course. And then I have this other Alter Ego palette. It's called the Artemis palette. It is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Metropolis, which I don't have. So I'm definitely keeping this one until I can get my hands on Metropolis, if ever. Okay. The next row here, I have this Essence palette. This is my only drugstore palette other than some e.l.f. And honestly, I feel like this color story is so pretty. Like, the quality is definitely not the best, I will say that. But it's such a pretty color story. I should use this more. I'm going to hold on to it because I don't have any real drugstore palettes. So maybe I'll want to use it in a video. Okay, then I have these two Ofra Cosmetics palettes. Ofra is a brand that I have not been impressed with, if I'm being very honest. I'm going to keep this one because this is the color story that I love the most from the brand. I think the shadows perform okay. The highlighter formula is definitely the best thing about this, but I'm going to hold on to this one. But I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't need this one. This is a beautiful highlighter, I'll say that. The highlighter is beautiful, this is a nice bronzer, but the rest of these shades I don't use, and quite frankly, I forgot that I had this palette, so it can go. Ooh, my Nabla palettes. So I have the Secret palette. I don't think I've ever used this. Nope, never used it. I'm gonna keep it though, because I love the Nabla formula. I have the Side by Side palette. This is a really, really nice nude neutral palette. Works really well for deeper complexions as well. The Nabla formula is definitely one of my favorites and one of the most underrated in my opinion. Then I have the Dreamy palette. This one I love because it has so many textures in here. This is a really, really unique palette because of all the textures. So definitely keeping that one as well. Okay, then I have 4 ColourPop palettes. So I have the Cabana Club, which I picked up but never got a chance to use. But it's so colorful, that's why I picked it up. So I'm going to keep this one because I haven't used it yet. The Limoncello, this was one that I picked up again off of a recommendation. And it's a nice palette, I don't need this in my collection, and I feel like I have these colors 10 times over. And it's a very soft, subtle palette, and it's a very neutral palette. Once you cover the blue, this is a very neutral palette, so I'm gonna declutter this one. Oh my god, I was so excited when I saw this palette, and like, look at this color story. It's just colorful goodness, and I was so disappointed with this one, so I'm gonna declutter this as well, because I'm definitely not reaching for it. I feel like I get all of these real tropical colors in the Fancy Faces palette from Odin's Eye. And at Forest-Side, definitely keeping this one. This is the best quality I've ever seen from ColourPop, so this definitely stays. Okay, then we have a surprising gem this year. This is the e.l.f. and Jen Atkin palette. This is an amazing palette. Now, this bronzer ain't bronzing nobody, and this is supposed to be the deep palette. This doesn't bronze anybody, but all of these shades work really well. I like using these really neutral shades as my like mattes and my crease and my deepening colors, and then popping like one of my single shadows on the lids. The blush I think is meh, and the highlights is meh too, but I think it's a solid palette that I did not expect to like as much as I did. Okay. Oh, Charlotte Tilbury snuck in here. This is a Charlotte Tilbury Icon palette. It's an all shimmer palette. Definitely keeping this. I think it's a nice all shimmer palette. Also keeping my Makeup by Mario Master Metallics. Really like that as well. Oh, this is a tough one. The Too Faced Palm Springs. This is an okay palette, but I like the color story, so I'm gonna keep on this as well. Oh my Jesus. The e.l.f. and J. Kissa palette. This I am decluttering because I struggled with this palette. Like, this was limited edition. It was a collab palette. The proceeds went to, like, helping animals. You could decorate the top of it. Like, it's a rainbow palette, but the shimmers did not perform well, so I'm getting rid of that one. Ooh, the KKW. This was their Army palette. This is actually real nice, y'all. Like, this I really, really liked. I'm definitely keeping this because I think it's actually a solid palette. I picked up this Buxom palette at TJ Maxx for like $17. It's a warm palette. Never used it yet. I'm gonna hold on to it for now, just because I want to try the Buxom formula. I've never picked up anything from Buxom, so I'll give it a try. Okay, so then we have this KVD Vegan Beauty palette. This was one that I think came out in 2020. It is a completely recyclable palette. Honestly, the palette, like, packaging is horrendous and extremely ugly. But these shadows perform so well. It looks really basic. It looks really cheap. But I love how these shadows perform. I picked this up for like $13 because nobody was buying it. And it just kept going on sale cheaper and cheaper. But honestly, it's such a good palette. Oh, my Urban Decay Born to Run. This is probably my only Urban Decay palette. This is the best thing that they've come out with in such a long time. So I'm keeping this because they haven't done anything else with having in my collection. Okay, so I have two Dominique Cosmetics palettes. Okay, so the first one I have is the Berries and Creams palette. This I never used, and honestly it's because I tried a couple more of the Dominique Cosmetics palettes and I did not like the formula. So this is going to be one of those that I'm going to declutter and sell. Then I have the Celestial Storm. Now this one I am going to keep because I do think that the color story in here is interesting, and I really did want this palette, and even though the formula is a little bit harder to work with, I'm willing to work with this one, so I'm going to keep this one. Okay, and I have a couple of palettes stuffed in the back here, so let's see. Oh, what are these? Okay. So I have the two Pat McGrath Idol palettes. So this is the neutral one, and this is the colorful one. I'm going to keep both just because I'm a Pat McGrath collector. I have these two Smashbox palettes. Why do I even have this? Ooh, this is pretty. This is a real nice green color. And, oh, well, this is a real nice warm one. I might just get rid of this one. I don't think I need this one. Then I have the two Rare Beauty, these were limited edition holiday palettes. This one is Magnetic Spirit, and this one is Confident Energy. I actually really liked the formula of these, so I'm going to hold on to both of these because I don't have any other Rare Beauty palettes. My Nabla Cutie palettes. So I have the Coral, Analog, yeah, Metropolitan, Platinum, and Midnight. And I'm going to keep all of these because these are absolutely beautiful. Like, this is like the perfect cool toned palette for someone that doesn't know or is just diving into cool tones. I have one melt stack. This is the Blueprint stack. They actually turned this into an eyeshadow palette. But I have the stack, so I never bought the eyeshadow palette because I have this. And luckily, nothing is broken. But because I have this, I never bought the Blueprint stack. And I actually really like this. And the formula in here is really nice. It's very pigmented. Definitely a little bit on the crumbly side, but still really great. Okay. My Bobbi Brown palettes. You guys already know that this is the best palette. I love this. I'm obsessed with this. Because I love that one so much, I picked up this one. I haven't used it as yet, but I really like the Bobbi Brown eyeshadow formula, so I think that this is going to be fabulous. So I'm going to hold on to this. And I also picked up this really nice grunge green mini palette that I like as well, so I'm going to hold on to this. Okay. Lastly, I have two of these Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palettes because they kept arriving broken. So this one I was able to kind of repress into this, so I was able to get back this purple shade. And then this one, the purple shade kept arriving broken, so I had to end up tossing that. But I don't know, maybe I'll keep one and give one away to my sister. And then I have my e.l.f. bite-sized shadows. Oh, this is a hard one. Okay, I'm going to keep some of these and get rid of some of these. This one is the pink one I'm going to keep. The green one I actually think is one of their better qualities. Going to keep that one. This one I don't think was great quality, so I'm going to get rid of this one. This one was nice, but it's broken. I'm going to hold on to that for like a minute. And there's this really nice, I don't even think I've used this. Oh, that's pretty. And then there's this one. I'm going to get rid of this one. So I'm going to get rid of these three. And I will hold on to these three. Okay, so those were all of the shadows in my first drawer. Let's dive into drawer number 2. Okay, so now we're on drawer number 2, which is essentially my luxury drawer. For the most part, I'm keeping every single thing in here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I'm decluttering in here. The one thing that I am getting rid of is my Divine Rose 2 palette, and that is because I picked it up in the limited edition packaging. So this was my OG Divine Rose 2. Which is a beautiful palette. I'm not getting rid of this because the quality is poor at all. This is actually amazing quality. But I picked it up in the pink packaging, so I'm getting rid of the other one. But just to quickly show you guys everything, this is pretty much just Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona. So I have her new holiday palette from this year. This is last year's palette. This is the Venus and Fleurs quad. Is it? Yes, Venus and Fleurs. I have all of her motherships. The only one that's missing from here is Utopian Dream, which is somewhere in my pile of things still needing to be used. I have her, I think this is like 2018 limited, well, were they limited edition? But these were her 2018 holiday releases. And that's when she was still doing the string packaging. She has a couple of, I have a couple of her older palettes that again come in the string packaging. So definitely keeping every single one of my Pat McGrath palettes because, you know, it's Patricia, it's Mama Pat. We love her. This is one of my absolute faves. I like hunted high and low for this palette, and it was totally worth it when I finally found it. Okay, so in addition to Mama Pat, I do have 3 Viseart palettes. I think 2 of these I picked up on BoxyCharm, and then 1 of these I picked up at Sephora. This one I got at Sephora for 50% off, so $40. And then these 2 I think I paid like $12 each on BoxyCharm. So I'm keeping all of these. These are like $80. Honestly, I don't think that they're worth $80. I do like the Viseart formula, but I do think that it's overpriced. And then my Natasha Denona palettes. So I have some of her smaller MIDI palettes. And then I have her larger palettes. All of these I've rearranged into my own palette, so they definitely don't look like the originals, with the exception of Trio Chrome, Gold, and Lila. So the Trio Chrome, I think, is one of her best palettes. The multi-chromes in here are not the best, but her mattes in this one are everything. This Circle Local I've also rearranged into my own, so that's a little bit more functional. Lila is still pretty much the same. Sunset also still pretty much the same. Didn't do anything there. And the Gold palette, which I think is discontinued now. I do have 2 more Natasha Denona palettes that aren't in here. Those are her big mega, 28 pan palettes that I picked up for Black Friday. So they're not in here. I'll have to figure out a way if I can make them fit. But as you guys can see, this drawer is already bursting at the seams. And I do have a number of my Pat McGrath palettes missing from here already. So I don't have the new Pat McGrath 2021 holiday collection in here yet. I don't have Utopian Dream in here yet. And I just found this on Poshmark for $67. This was a part of her 2018 holiday collection. Another one that I had been searching for. And look at this. Stunning. Brand new. Like, there's so few blues in Mama Pat's collection that I had to get this one. So this, I'm just going to stick this in here for now. And I'll have to figure out a better place to store my luxury palettes. Okay, so that's my second drawer, and then I have 2 more drawers and a couple of baskets. So let's move on. Okay, so here we have my third drawer of eyeshadow palettes. It's definitely a bit of a mix of everything. So let's just go through and see what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. This is kind of, we're getting into my overflow drawers at this point. Okay, so I have these 2 Smashbox palettes that have never been opened. I planned to put them in a giveaway. I probably still will. So I'm gonna just, yeah, they're not going anywhere. They'll be in a giveaway. Then I have my ABH and Novena palette. So I have the blue, pink, this, what is this, volume 5, which is amazing. Definitely keeping all of these. I feel like I'm still iffy on the quality of them, but I'm gonna keep every single one of these. I have my Blends palette from Blend Buddy. Keeping this as well. I think it's like a beautiful rainbow palette and the only one that I will ever need. So I have this Fenty Beauty. It's actually a highlighting palette, but I feel like these shadows perform better as eyeshadows. So I have been using them as eyeshadows. So I'm going to keep this as well. I need to use it more. Then I have my Juvia's Place collection, which is criminally underused. So I have the Warrior 2. This is really pretty. God, I need to use this with like some of my singles. Warrior 3. Also never touched. I think I've swatched like 2 shades in this. This one I actually did get some decent use out of, so I'm like torn. Like, I want to keep my Juvia's Place, but then I don't use them, so like, does it make sense to keep them? I'm keeping this one because my name is in this palette, so definitely keeping. Oh, I have this Summer in Saint Tropez palette from BH Cosmetics that I've used once. It's a really pretty color story, but I don't think I'm ever going to use this again. So I'm probably, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this one. I have my little Marc Jacobs collection. These I think are okay in terms of quality. I'm going to get rid of Fantasine because this is the one that I think is honestly the one that's too light for me and the one that I don't reach for and don't use. So I'm going to get rid of this one. But I'm going to keep the rest of these. This one's actually really, really nice. And this one I just found at TJ and I really want to try it. I should have one more. Oh, this one, yeah. This is the cherry one. So I'm definitely keeping my Kaleidos. Oh, I have this little Kiko eyeshadow that I really wanted to try this. Have not used it yet, so I'm going to keep this for now. This is supposed to be in a giveaway. So I'm going to put that to the side. My Kaleidos palettes are definitely staying. So this one is staying too. I have a couple of Charlotte Tilbury. Those are definitely staying. My Adept Cosmetics palettes, which I bought but never used. This is the Codon. Definitely keeping this because I waited so long for these down palettes to come. 2, never used them and I really want to try the formula. So definitely keeping the Nihydrin. I've swatched this but never used it, but keeping that as well. Ooh, the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. Like I said, I don't like the Dominique Cosmetics formula, so I'm going to declutter this one. So many people love this palette, and I'm just like, am I doing something wrong? Because it don't work for me. KKW. This one's actually a really nice palette. I'm not going to lie. The KKW formula is actually pretty dope. So I'm keeping this one. Then I have my Danessa Myricks. Definitely keeping that one. The Smoke Sessions palette by Melt Cosmetics. This is my second, well, one of 2 Melt palettes that I own. Keeping this one as well because this is pigmented and beautiful. It's really nice. So I have these 3 Glamlight palettes. I love the Chocolate Martini. Keeping that for sure. I didn't love this one, but I could make it work. So I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit longer. And keeping the Dirty Martini, of course. Oh, my Menagerie and Serenity palette. The Menagerie formula is amazing. And this color story is beautiful. So definitely keeping that. Oh, I forgot about this. Alien Cosmetics, Unearthly Cosmetics. This is a really, really nice palette. So definitely keeping this one. I don't know what it's called. 2 more Juvia's Place palettes. This Masquerade palette I actually really like. It's like the perfect carnival palette. So I'm going to hold on to this. Because one day we will play mass again. And then the Magic Mini by Juvia's Place. I wanted this for so long because it's a very jewel toned palette. And I used this once. Yeah, I think I've used this once. Really like it. Gonna keep this one as well. Oh, the Alien Cosmetics All I Ever Wanted palette. This is literally a perfect shimmer palette. So, definitely keeping this. Oh, the Nubian 2 by Juvia's Place. What is this? Oh, this is pretty. This is cute. Again, never used, but this is real pretty, so I'm going to keep this. I think I'm keeping everything in here, y'all. Oh, another... I forgot about this. This is a Makeup Revolution palette. That Zoyin loved this, so I picked it up off of, like, her recommendation. And it's nice. I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit longer. Again, I don't have a ton of drugstore palettes, so it's nice to have some, I guess. Anyways, moving right along to the next drawer. Okay, this is a little bit of an overflow drawer as well. So I do have some non-eyeshadow products in here. So just ignore that. So I have this other little mini MAC palette, which again goes in a giveaway. So these 2 will probably be in some kind of giveaway. I have this MAC Feast Your Eyes eyeshadow palette. This was some friend mail and this is stunning. I really like this. I really like the look I made with this one. So I'm going to keep this one because it's beautiful. The 3 Sydney Grace palettes that I just picked up during Black Friday. Haven't even used these yet. These are obviously staying. And this drawer, well, this is one of my Tom Ford quads that's going to go in a giveaway, so put that to the side. And this drawer is really my mini palettes. So I'm not getting rid of any of this, and I'm not going to go through all this at all. But these, all of my Tom Ford quads. So all of these are staying. And then here we have all of my Natasha Denona quads. So I'm keeping all of my Tom Ford quads, keeping all of my Natasha Denona quads. I'm also keeping these two Makeup Geek quads because these are fabulous. The Makeup Geek formula is really nice. And I'm going to keep my Nabla glitter palette as well. And this, like, build your own palette from ABH. I have this Mint to Be thing, bite-sized palette from e.l.f. that I picked up and I was supposed to use, never got a chance to use it, but I'm going to keep it because I really want to try it out. Really interested in that minty green shade, so I'm going to hold on to that. Then we have my Natasha Denona mini, well, I call them minis, but they're the 5 pans, so keeping every single one of these. And lastly, well, we have this Ofra palette, which is the Ofra collab with Leora, who I love, so I'm going to hold on to this. And lastly, we have my Dose of Colors collection. So these two are definitely staying. They're the only palettes that, wait, wrong one. These two are definitely staying. They're the only ones that are a mix of mattes and shimmers. And I love the Dose of Colors matte formula. Their shimmers are really nice too, so definitely keeping both of these. Definitely holding on to these as well. These are just mattes, so this is like a cool toned matte palette. This is more orangey, and this is more warm browns. And then I have these two, the Blushing Berries, which is more red, pinky toned. And the Snow Angels, which is more colorful. So I'm going to keep my entire Dose of Colors collection because I do really like their formula. And I haven't used this one, but I've swatched it, so. And then these are my last set of sort of miscellaneous palettes that need a home. So, and actually none of these have been used, so I'm definitely not getting rid of any of these, but figured I'd show you guys anyway. So I have the two Natasha Denona giant palettes, so the brown, green, and the purple, whatever the colors are. The Melt Amore Mariposas palette, which I need to do a video on. You guys have already seen this. Stunning. No! I have the Nomad Fire and Ice palette, this Carnival palette from Posh Cosmetics, the Nons palette from Odin's Eye. I finally picked up the Judy palette and the Saga of Freya. The two holiday quads from Pat McGrath this year. Utopian Dream. The Wilderness palette from Beauty Bay, as well as the Age of Opulence palette from Beauty Bay. And the Michaela palette from Glamlight. And finally, the We Heritage palette from To Be Glow Cosmetics, which I still need to do a video on. So that's it. Hopefully this was a relatively short eyeshadow declutter. Like I said, I'm definitely not getting rid of most of my collection because I love my collection. There are just a few products that weren't working out for me, so I'm giving those better homes. But most of this is staying because I try to really only buy palettes that I know that I love. And if I don't like something, I return it back to the store and get my money. So that's it. If you liked this video, please go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already done so. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye!